feelings around.
Hello and welcome to the Tottenham America channel. Today we will be giving you our instant reactions to Tottenham's disappointing 2-0 loss to Arsenal, as Arsenal get the double over Spurs and win at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the first time ever. Spurs had a very poor performance in the first half, yet they did show some spirit in the second half, but was not enough to even get one goal back. So now we're going to go over the goals in the match. Starting off in the 14th minute when Thomas Partey released a beautiful ball down the right flank to Bukayo Saka. Sessegnon can't deal with him and he lashes a shot at the near post, and Lloris fumbles it into the goal, and it goes down as an own goal for Hugo Lloris. Quite a big blunder from Hugo Lloris. He's made a couple mistakes recently. He made a mistake against Aston Villa recently in our 2-0 loss where his mistake caused a Emi Buendia goal. And we've seen another mistake from him too here. So I think his age is definitely catching up on him. He did make some other decent saves throughout the game where Arsenal could have scored, but those other saves were not enough to make up for this very costly mistake. Arsenal's second goal then came in the 36th minute with a brilliant strike from Martin Odegaard. He strikes it into the bottom right corner. Lloris is a little bit off his line, but he can't really do anything about it. He's at full stretch, and Martin Odegaard puts it into the bottom right corner. It's a brilliant finish from Arsenal's captain. No other goals throughout the match, but throughout the second half, Spurs were pushing very hard. Kulusevski was probably Spurs' most impactful player. He had some good spirit in the second half, but it was not enough to get at least one goal back. Then there was a little bit of fighting at the end of the match. Aaron Ramsdale got in a little bit of a tussle with Richarlison, and then as he went behind his goal to pick up his water ball, a fan came out onto the pitch and tried to throw an arm at his back. And so that's a disappointing scene from the Spurs fans. But Arsenal completely destroyed Spurs today, outnumbered them in midfield, and it's no less than Arsenal deserves. Spurs with a really poor performance today. Second half, like we've seen all throughout the season, Spurs being much better. In the first half, we were so quiet. One of the biggest surprises of this game was how quiet Son was. Son did not have a good performance today. It's not like that he made many mistakes. He was so quiet, barely got on the ball at all. He did have a chance earlier in the game, got a shot on target. Aaron Ramsdale made a beautiful save. So that was pretty much our only chance in the first half. Although there was also a Kane header, which was quite easy for Ramsdale to deal with right before halftime. And then in the second half, we were testing Ramsdale a lot more. But Ramsdale, probably man of the match overall, made so many great saves. But for Spurs, man of the match, I'm going to say it has to be Kulusevski. Kulusevski was the most impactful player today, trying to get things done. Nothing really worked out for him, though. Kulusevski had Kane and Son. They were counter-attacking. He had so much space. Kane, I don't know what kind of run he was making. He should have made a run into the box. Or come to the near post. Son was at the back post. He was being really good, covered really good by the Arsenal defenders throughout the entire game. That's why Son stayed so quiet today. They were covering him so well. He could not make an impact. But Kane was also decent. He did make a pretty good header right before halftime. Not the hardest of headers for Aaron Ramsdale to deal with, but Spurs did get a corner out of it. Højbjerg and Sarr were pretty decent today, I would say. Sarr was pretty good to cope with all the pressure in a North London derby. His first PL start was today in the North London derby, which is crazy, and he looked so calm on the ball. He looked really good today. So it's a sign of more things to come from him. Højbjerg, for the second goal, he did get caught out of position on the way back while Arsenal were counter-attacking. So I think that was one of his mistakes. But in the second half, he won possession back a lot. So them two in midfield were actually pretty good today. It was just the problem that Martin Odegaard, who was Arsenal's third man in midfield, pretty much. It was Xhaka and Partey, but then they also had Odegaard in midfield, which outnumbered our midfield 3-2. And our midfield could not handle with that. As for our defense, Romero was okay. he threw a lot of challenges at players, unnecessary fouls, picked up a yellow card, could have even possibly got a red card. I was quite scared he might get a red card. Longley was actually pretty good. He was pretty good at defense. Although normally we see him come forward and play a ball into the box. His balls into the box were not coming off properly today. His crosses, like we normally see, like how Harry Kane got that goal against Brentford. Eric Dyer at center back was actually pretty good today. First half he didn't have much to do, but our whole defense was lacking stuff in the first half. Second half, he was just, for a period of time, for maybe this first 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the second half, he was just staying back there, super attentive and focused for Arsenal to get on the break. And at that point, we were pretty much just playing in Arsenal's half. But Dyer, not the best in the first half, but definitely improved in the second half. Lloris, not a great performance from him, made a huge blunder for the opening goal, which really poor goalkeeping from him. Second half, he did make some saves that Arsenal could have scored from, so that does bring his rating a little bit up, but not enough to fully redeem himself. So Arsenal were basically just too good for us today. This is why they're first in the league. Another thing we could have done is we should have brought substitutes on early. We should have brought Richarlison on earlier. He probably should have came on earlier for Son. Son was not having a good game. And Kulusevski was doing really well. And Doherty wasn't doing necessarily bad either. So Richarlison we could have brought on earlier. Perisic, though, we should have brought on way earlier. That could have been a halftime sub. Sessegnon was doing terrible in the first half. Couldn't deal with Saka for that first goal and was really shaky on the ball. He could not put a cross in. So we should have really brought on Perisic. Basuma, him coming on in the 76th minute. I see no problem with that. Coming on for Pape, who had his debut today. Then Davies and Heel coming on in the 80th minute. I think we could have brought on Heel earlier to have some sort of impact because he's been bright recently. But in like the couple minutes he was on, 2 minutes plus stoppage time, he did not have much of an impact. Neither did any of our subs really. None of them really had an impact whatsoever. But that will conclude our instant reactions on Tottenham's 2-0 loss to Arsenal in the Premier League. As we just about hit the halfway point, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and until next time, come on you Spurs!